Welcome to Seattle College's international programs and our show Conversations With, where we talk to people that help you understand how you too can be an international student in the United States and why Seattle Colleges should be your first choice. We'll talk to students and staff and agents and government folks, all kinds of people about what you can expect when you're getting ready to apply or travel here, what you'll experience while you're with us, and how it can all lead to an amazing life. Don't forget to check out the Seattle College's International Programs website at intl.seattlecolleges.edu, where you can find a treasure trove of information about the school, the programs here, and best of all, fill out and submit your application. Again, that's intl.seattlecolleges.edu. Hey everybody, welcome back to Conversations With. We're here in the great city of Bellingham, Washington. Get out your maps because you're going to go to Seattle and then you're going to head north about, an hour?
Hour and a half maybe from Seattle.
Yeah. Let me introduce Richard here. He's with Western Washington University. Tell everybody who you are, what you do here, how long you've been here,
okay,
and why you're an important part of maybe their future.
Great. Well, thanks for coming, Evan.
Yeah, welcome. Thanks for having me.
Welcome to Western and to Bellingham. My name's Richard Bruce, and I am Director of International Student and Scholar Services here at Western.
Nice.
So we work with all international students who come for their undergraduate degree, graduate degree. We have some coming on short-term exchange. We also have a small group of intensive English students. So once everyone applies, gets through the admissions process, is admitted to Western, then that's when kind of we take over.
Right.
So we do everything from issuing the immigration documents, advising students on visas, to orientations when they get here, making sure students know about all the resources and services we offer here at Western, and whatever comes up, usually.
Well, and today is a gorgeous day here on the campus. I picked the right day to come up for sure. I highly encourage you to come. Can they come here and just take a tour? Do you guys offer tours?
Absolutely. In fact, today, I think Friday, I think today is kind of a visitor welcome day.
Oh, great.
Happens every week. Students or families can come and do tours. I think you can come any day, but I think Fridays are especially set aside for groups.
And if they wanted to get in on one of those tours, do they have to register? Do they have to call you? What do they do?
Well, that's all done by the admissions office.
Okay.
So they would just go to the admissions website. There's a link for visiting. Mm-hmm. I think you do sign up, especially for the tours.
Right.
Because there's different times during the day. And that's the place to start. So
great. And what's the website, just so people have it?
Just look up WW Admissions, and you'll
come to it.
Yeah, you'll come to the website.
Very good.
Yeah.
So if you're in Seattle at Seattle Colleges and you're thinking about schools to transfer to, Bellingham's just up the road. You can take the train. You could take Amtrak, actually.
You can. Amtrak's pretty convenient. A lot of students, if they don't have a car, there's a shuttle that goes from Seattle, actually from SeaTac Airport.
I didn't know that.
Which is how a lot of students get here, especially when they're first coming.
Right.
So there is it's called the Bel Air shuttle. Goes through Seattle, stops along the way up to Bellingham, and goes also north of here. So doesn't take too long, maybe a couple hours at the most.
Yeah, it's pretty fast.
So that's one way. Of course, if you have a car, you can drive, and it's pretty quick. But shuttle, I think, is most common for a lot of students. Yeah.
And we don't have class on Friday, so there's no excuse, guys.
There you go.
Take a Friday, come on up, explore the campus and the town. tell us about Bellingham, the city. It's obviously smaller than Seattle, but
Yeah.
how much smaller?
So it's about 95,000 people right now. It's grown over the years, but obviously a lot smaller than Seattle.
Right.
So we're right on Bellingham Bay, right on the water. We've got the mountains up to the east, about an hour away by car. And we're about 30 minutes from the Canadian border. So Vancouver's about an hour away. And then down south is Seattle. So, I hear students say Bellingham is not too big, not too small, good location, kind of near Canada and Vancouver, not far from Seattle. So, you can get kind of the small town feel, and then if you want to go, go to the big city, it's just not far away.
Sure. Go see a concert, whatever.
Yeah.
Just driving in to get to the campus day, the town feels like a little older. Like a lot of the houses are they've got a lot of character.
Yeah.
The neighborhoods are cool. I like it.
Yeah. So, there are older parts of town, from back in the 1800s, right?
Right.
So originally, I think Bellingham was kind of a mix of little towns and villages. One is called Fairhaven, which is a little south of here.
Okay.
I don't know if you drove through there on the way, but
Came up I-5.
But
maybe.
yeah, it looks very quaint and older buildings. Kind of cute.
Yeah.
Very little different than downtown. So Bellingham now is kind of an amalgamation of little areas that came together to form one city.
Right.
So yeah, the area is not that big. You can get around by bus really easily.
Right.
If you're driving, you can get anywhere in 5-10 minutes. So, and no traffic. You don't have to deal with traffic like in Seattle.
Does the public I did see buses. Do the buses run as far south as, say, Everett? Do they go that far south?
They run. Well, I think there is not the Bellingham buses, but there are kind of connector buses that go farther south.
Sure.
But one nice thing is when students come here, there's there's the regular student fees. There's one called the transportation fee.
Oh.
That's where when you get your student card, that also becomes your bus pass. So you can use that. Take the bus all over Bellingham. It does go kind of north. It does go a little south, and it's all free basically with your student ID.
Oh, that's a great deal.
So yeah, it's pretty easy to get around town. I think if you don't have a car, you can also ride your bike.
There's a lot of bikes.
Yeah,
it's an outdoorsy kind of town. It seems like.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. Bellingham is very outdoorsy. You can do a lot of outdoor activities. I think I mentioned earlier the mountains. Mount Baker is about an hour away. Lots of skiing, snowboarding, hiking. The water's right nearby. You can do a lot of, water activities, kayaking, sailing, things like that. And one kind of interesting thing about Western too is, well, a couple things as far as the outdoors go. There's what's called an outdoor center. Actually, we walked by it on the way in here.
Yeah, I think there was a rental place down there. Yeah.
So the outdoor center is quite unique. Not a lot of schools have something like this, but it's all student run and funded by student fees. But you can rent outdoor equipment from skis to snowboards. You can rent mountain bikes.
Wow.
You can rent camping gear, and it's all very reasonable.
Right.
They also do quarterly excursions run by students. So if you sign up for one of those, you can do like snowshoeing, kayaking, maybe even sailing, and then the cost is like $10 maybe.
Oh, super cheap.
Yeah. So there's that. That's a good thing for the outdoors. And then the university has a facility called Lakewood, which is probably about half an hour drive from here.
Mm-hmm.
It's on Lake Whatcom, which is the big lake nearby. And there's a boathouse there. There's sometimes we'll have activities there for international students. So they've got a barbecue, so you can hang out, you can barbecue. And then they've got rental boats like kayaks and canoes and sailboats, and all open to students, for a minimal fee.
Right.
As long as you got your student ID, then.
And there's a shuttle that runs from here to there?
There is sometimes, not all the time.
Not all the time.
Yeah, but it's fairly easy to get to.
Well, Bellingham is consistently rated one of the most livable cities in the United States. You'll see it like an Outside magazine.
Yeah.
And I think because of that, we've seen a lot of growth in Bellingham. And you've been here quite a while.
Yep.
Can you kind of describe how the city's been evolving?
Sure. So, yeah, I've been here about 22 years.
Yeah.
I'm originally from Seattle, so I grew up not far from the UW
Yeah.
and Capitol Hill.
Right. Seattle Central.
Yeah. So, so I grew up there. I didn't end up going to the UW. It was a little too big for me.
Mm-hmm.
I went to Evergreen State College in Olympia. And so started in Seattle, moved to Japan for a number of years. I was a teacher. Moved to Vancouver, BC after that for a number of years. My wife's Canadian, so we lived there for a while. Then I came down to Bellingham to go to graduate school, and so that was early 2000s. And it's grown quite a bit since then. It's kind of expanded a little to the south, and downtown has expanded, different things coming and going. One big difference is when I first came here, there weren't a lot of, really good restaurants, but...
That's changed.
Yeah, but that has changed.
Yeah.
So a lot more variety, a lot more breweries.
Oh, yeah.
So, there was a couple 20 years ago. Now there's probably at least a dozen or more.
Do you guys have a brewery program here?
We do not.
You don't?
No.
Okay.
That's a good idea, though.
That's a great idea, yeah. Maybe talk to your chemistry department.
Yeah, there we go. So that's changed a lot. A lot more opportunities for going out and,
right.
Food options, restaurants, things like that.
Yeah.
So,
it seems like the kind of town that's become kind of artsy.
A little bit, yeah.
People go and they hang out downtown. It's very relaxed.
Yeah.
It's a really great town as far as size and the kinds of things it has to offer, in my opinion. It's a great little university town.
Yeah.
So let's consider Western Washington University. But, they've got so many great options down in the Seattle area. Why pick up their suitcases and drive, another hour north? Why would they do that?
Yeah, no, that's a good question. I think it ultimately comes down to what is the student looking for, right? So if you're looking for, big university like the UW, thousands and thousands and thousands of students, that's great. But if you're looking for something a little smaller, a little more intimate, then, you might consider Western. We're about the third of the size of UW, I think.
Right.
Roughly 15,000 students. But we're geared towards undergraduate students.
Okay.
Whereas somewhere like the UW has tons of graduate programs, right?
Sure.
A lot of courses are taught by teaching assistants. But here, the whole idea behind Western is undergraduate-based, teaching-based. So professors work closely with students. And that's kind of what we like here.
Right.
So when students are here, they have easy access to professors. If you have questions, you can go talk to your professor. It's actually encouraged.
Right.
That's part of the experience. But also, depending on the program, students have opportunities to do research with professors.
That's good to know.
Something that you wouldn't normally be able to do at a big school unless maybe you're in a master's program.
Right.
So, I think the average class size is about 26.
Oh, that's pretty small. Yeah.
Yeah,
That's great.
So, and you know, the faculty to student ratio is pretty low, the 17-to-1 maybe.
That's amazing.
So, but you know, that's often when I talk to students about, you know, why did you come to Western, or what do you like about Western? Well, it's that easy access to professors, you know, small classes, good academic programs, and just, you know, easy to meet other students, I think. And you know, that's the other thing. It depends on what you're looking for, but you know, if you go to a big school, there'll be a lot of international students probably. Well, we haven't really planned it this way, but our international population is quite small compared to other students. So I have had students tell me that, oh, I came to Western because there aren't a lot of international students, and so they wanted to kind of be out of their comfort zone a little bit, meet more American students, you know, dramatically improve their English, that kind of stuff. So it kind of comes down to what you're looking for, right?
All right. How many international students do you have currently?
Right. So from quarter to quarter, if we include, you know, undergraduate, graduate, we have some short-term exchange students, we have some intensive English students, so roughly about 200.
All right, perfect. Yeah.
That's like 1 to 2% of our total population.
Right.
So
do you house the international students all together, or do they get mixed in with the general population?
They can live wherever they want.
Oh, okay.
So we do have on-campus housing, which a lot of students take advantage of. Probably got about 4,000 on campus.
Wow, that's amazing.
Yeah, so there's a lot of options for on-campus housing. There is one area called Burnham Wood Apartments, and they're apartment style. So you've got 2 bedrooms, 2 students per room. You got a kitchen, you got a living room. So it's like an apartment.
Right.
So, you know, a lot of our international students kind of like that option rather than like a regular dormitory.
Yep.
Especially transfer students. So.
Right. What about for international students? I know in the Seattle area, a lot of international students take homestays as the way they set up their housing. Do you guys offer something like homestays in Bellingham?
Yeah, we don't.
Okay.
And I guess the main reason is we don't get a lot of students asking for homestays.
Oh, okay.
So I think it's probably because they're transfer students coming here.
Right.
So maybe at Seattle Central, for example, or one of the other Seattle schools, maybe they did a homestay before.
Right.
Or, you know, they had that experience. And then when they come here, they just want to do something a little different.
Sure, absolutely.
So yeah, we don't get a lot of requests for that. I mean, occasionally, but yeah, we pretty much focus on the on-campus experience.
Right.
There are, if you want to live off campus, there are a lot of options around campus. So some transfer students who lived in apartments before, they could easily come to Western and find an apartment and do that somewhere near campus, and that's fine too. So.
Hey, some students ask about, and it's not very often, but sometimes they'll ask about, say, a Greek system, like they rush a house or something. Do you guys have Greek system here on Western?
Western does not have a Greek system.
Have it. Okay.
And actually by design.
Ah, okay.
I think it's just been kind of, you know, it wasn't part of the ethos here, or the vibe.
Sure.
You know, nothing wrong with the Greek system.
Yeah.
That's just something that is not part of Western. So
right on.
But having said that, there are lots of, you know, student clubs and opportunities to get involved with, you know, other students. So
nice.
But not a Greek system.
Not a Greek system.
Yeah.
Okay, well, let's say I'm at Seattle Colleges and I'm thinking about transferring somewhere, and I decide, hey, this does seem like a really great fit for me. What's the next step? Do they? What's part of the application process? Do they have to do? And then they always want to know about tuition. And maybe do you have transfer scholarships for students that have been doing well at Seattle Central or Seattle, South Seattle?
Sure. So yeah, first step would be go to the WWU admissions website. There is what you want to do is go to the international section.
Okay.
And that has everything for international students. So both students who come here for the first year and then also for transfer students.
Gotcha.
So it's got all the information there. It's got tuition amounts. It's got scholarships that are available, that kind of thing. So so that's where you can start kind of checking out programs, academic programs that might look interesting. There, you can contact an admissions counselor directly. They'll reach out to you, or you can talk to them, or you can message them. Western does send admissions representatives to transfer fairs in the Seattle area.
Yeah.
So
check out the transfer fairs, fall and spring.
So Western should have representatives there.
Cool.
And so that's where it starts. The application's online. You start an account, you start filling out the application. You can upload all your documents there. Kind of walks you through the whole process, right? That has changed a lot. When I first started, everything was paper-based, right?
That's right, yeah.
So everything was sent by paper.
Now kids are just doing it on their phone.
That's right. That's right. You can use your phone. Everything's online. A lot more sophisticated
right
now. So, but there are, I think, pretty good scholarships for transfer students. I think there's 3 tiers.
Okay.
It's based on your GPA.
All right.
From the school you're coming from, right? I think it starts at $4,000 a year.
Okay.
I think the next tier is $7,000 a year, and then the highest tier is $10,000 a year.
There you go.
So that's split up between. We're on the quarter system, so 3 quarters. So
good to know.
if you got 10,000, it's 333 per quarter.
Right.
And that is just a sum that's taken off your tuition.
Sure.
Each quarter.
Okay, I just want to make sure I understand. So, tuition per academic year, how much is the tuition and fees come to?
Yeah, tuition and fees by itself is this is for non-resident tuition.
Okay.
So I think it's like 27 something per year. And then for the total, so when we look at tuition fees, estimates for housing, food,
Starbucks for your girlfriend.
supplies, things like that, insurance. So, the amount we use for issuing the I-20.
Sure.
Okay. So right now it's about 51,000.
Right.
This is a grand total.
Sure, and this will probably all be on the website, so yeah, check that out.
Yeah.
Okay, well that's really great. So they can apply. They can now when they apply for scholarships, is it a separate application or are they automatically considered?
Automatically.
Oh, they are.
Yeah.
So they don't have to do anything special.
You don't have to do anything special. It's based on your GPA.
Okay.
So you come in, you do your transfer application. You're getting a certain GPA from college, then that puts you into a certain tier for the scholarships.
There you go. So keep your GPA high, guys.
That's right.
Sure.
That's right.
And then, like, what's the school known for? I mean, when I think of Western Washington, we were talking about this before we started rolling. I always think of, hey, if you're going to be a teacher, come to Western Washington.
Yeah.
But there are other programs here.
Yeah.
What's the school known for?
We're known for, education, of course, but also environmental studies, environmental science. We've got the College of the Environment. I think it's one of the oldest in the country.
Wow.
So overall, I think there's over 200 different academic programs. So,
wow, okay.
So business is quite popular.
Makes sense.
All the permutations of business. In fact, I was looking at kind of a list of international students at Western, what they study, where they come from. So right now, computer science is the most popular.
That makes sense,
right?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Also, kind of related to that, there's a cybersecurity program.
Oh, that's good. I get asked about that all the time.
It's very popular.
There you go.
And we have a lot of interest from international students. So, especially from the community colleges, there are certain colleges that have like a 2+2 program.
Right.
So, Whatcom Community College in Bellingham is one.
Mm-hmm.
I think Edmonds is another one.
Sure.
Olympic College, maybe, in Bremerton might be another one. So,
of course, Seattle colleges, 2+2.
Yeah.
We have an actual partnership with Western Washington,
Yeah.
so they would start maybe do a general computer science degree, then specialize in cybersecurity when they get here.
No, they would do they could do that, but how it's set up is there's a cybersecurity program at a certain college.
Okay.
They do 2 years there, and then they transfer to Western to
Gotcha.
finish it up.
I see.
But they could also do the same with computer science.
Sure.
Right?
Right. Would it, if they did it that way, would it lengthen the amount of time they have to study, or would it all transfer in nicely?
It usually transfers in pretty well.
Okay.
I think in general, you transfer in, assuming you got the DTA degree from the college, then you transfer in with, 90 credits, 100 credits maybe, and then, 180 you need here for graduation. So then it comes down to your actual program and what requirements they have here. So sometimes some of the STEM degrees have more requirements that you have to meet. So maybe you might have to go over the 180 a little bit. So
Sure.
it kind of depends. Things like biochemistry and stuff like that might take a little longer. But I think computer science is pretty
straightforward.
Pretty straightforward, yeah. Same with cybersecurity.
Talk to your advisors. They'll be the ones to help you out. They'll be definitely here to help you as well. So cybersecurity. What else is really popular?
Business. Anything related to business. So from finance to marketing, international business. We have a couple that have been quite popular in the past. One is called supply chain management.
Oh, sure. Yeah.
So, and I think, I'd have to check for sure, but I think they're set up now as a STEM program.
Oh.
So
after they're done, they can do OPT for up to 3 years?
Right.
Wow, that's great.
Don't quote me on that. I have to check. But
okay.
So supply chain management, management information systems.
Sure, yeah.
Okay. And then there's a fairly new one called data science.
Yeah.
Which is more
I get asked about that
statistics. Actually, that one is STEM, I know for sure. Data science. And then, there's tons of business-related programs that tend to be quite popular. Accounting is quite in vogue, I guess. Or,
right.
Yeah.
So when they graduate here, can they stay within Bellingham to do their OPT? Are there enough companies within the area that work with international students?
Yeah. I mean, it depends on what you're looking for.
Okay.
So and what your major is, right? So if you're looking for, say if you're looking to work for like Amazon or somewhere like that, then you've got to go to Seattle or other places around the country. But there are other small businesses in Bellingham that you could work at that have students get jobs at.
Yeah.
And they can use their OPT. If you're studying more like communications, that's another popular one. Psychology is another popular
major. Yeah, that's really popular. Yeah.
So depending on how you want to use your degree and what kind of work you're interested in, sure, Bellingham is an option.
With all the docks and the port here, is there like marine? Is there like engineering that has to do with shipping or?
Yeah. I mean, we do have engineering degrees here. They're more kind of around like I think one is plastics engineering, one is like industrial design.
I haven't heard that one.
One is electrical engineering. Nothing specific to marine.
Okay.
But there is a quite a large boat building company in Bellingham. It's called American Marine, I think it's called.
Okay.
So they build kind of small size ferries, and they're pretty busy, and got a lot of contracts around the world for boat building.
Right.
So
So if you were into electrical engineering or something, you may be able to do an internship.
It could be,
there.
yeah.
Interesting.
So yeah, it I guess it comes down to what you want to do, where you want to go. We do have students that go, when they do OPT, they go to another part of the U.S. just because they're interested in another part of the U.S.
Sure.
Which is, that's fine too.
Yeah.
So yeah, it varies a lot.
Nice.
We do have a lot of students do OPT after they graduate.
Yeah, for sure. That's why they're...
So, currently we've got, probably almost 30 students on OPT right now. So, and so it's one of the main options I think students take.
Right.
So maybe they'll do OPT. Maybe they'll go on to a master's program. Maybe they'll do both. They'll do OPT and then later on go into a master's program.
Right.
So,
of course, one of the benefits of starting at a community college is you can do your 2 years, then do a year of OPT, then transfer to Western Washington, finish your bachelor's degree up, and then do more OPT.
That's right. So yeah, you can do OPT at every next higher level.
Right.
So, community college, bachelor's, master's, PhD,
right,
all the way. You get OPT after each
You
period.
could be here a long time on a visa.
And I know some students who have been here a long time.
Been a long time.
So almost as long as I've been here. So.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
That would be a lot of education.
Yeah.
So, so one of the things about your school is different than Seattle colleges, of course, is you guys offer some sports available to students. Yep. We don't have that. So if someone were to come here, what kind of sports would be available to either play or watch?
Sure. So Western is, we do have, NCAA sports. So we're Division II.
Okay, Division II.
University of Washington is Division I.
Right.
So, a little different. But as far as, varsity NCAA sports go, basketball is probably the biggest one. And we've got soccer, volleyball. Those are all sports that you can watch for sure. And then there are what's called, so actually we do have, as far as international students go, we have several who play soccer.
Oh, sure.
We have a few who play basketball. So I think they were all pretty, well, not all of them, but some were transfer students.
Really?
Some started out as first year freshmen. So,
okay.
Yeah.
So in that case, if they were to come, do they just meet with the coach? Do they get, and then they do like a walk-on tryout or something?
Yeah, I think more often than not, they probably connect with the coach
all
first,
right,
and come in that way. So I think as part of the admissions process, I think you can put, your request for sports team or things like, if you're interested in doing like
sure,
high level NCAA level sports,
right,
then the admissions office sees that and they can put you in touch with the coach, or you can contact the coach directly,
right,
that kind of thing. So outside of those high level sports teams, there are also club teams. So they also compete against other schools. Things like rugby is a big one.
What?
Yeah,
that's
rugby
cool.
is quite big. Things like rowing is a big one. And I think there's baseball. I'm not sure. There's softball. Yeah, rugby is actually pretty big. We have some students who join the rugby team, and You don't have to. We've had students that they're just learned for the first time.
Wow, no kidding.
Yeah, and so I know some students who've been on the sailing team.
All right.
So actually, I did that when I was
Sailing
an
team.
undergraduate. So that's a lot of fun.
How does a sailing competition work? Is it for speed? Like whoever does the course fastest? I mean, how does it work?
Yeah, you do. You have a bunch of boats on the course. You lay out a course. Typically, it's like a big triangle, right?
Oh, okay.
And then you're all on the course at the same time. There's a start line, and then there's a clock.
Uh-huh.
So there's a certain amount of time, a couple of minutes before the start, right? You got to maneuver around, get in the best position, go for the start line, before the horn. And then you're off to the races. You go to the first mark, the second mark, third mark, and then you finish. So
kind of cool.
Whoever's first wins the race. So
how many people are on a boat?
Typically, because I did it myself.
Yeah.
Typically, there's boats that have 2 people.
Okay.
So they're small. They're called dinghies.
Okay.
So 2 people is typical. There are some races and boats where it's just singles.
Okay.
So
gotcha.
just an individual person racing their own boat.
All
so
right.
I think that's the most typical.
There you go. You could be a sailor.
Yeah. So
that's pretty.
And again, you don't have to have a lot of experience.
Mm-hmm.
I know one student from Malaysia came to Western, joined the sailing team, and she did it for 4 years. And you travel around to other schools. You race down in Seattle. You go down to Oregon, all over the place.
Well, that's cool.
Yeah.
Then you can go back to Malaysia, be on the Olympic team or something.
Yeah.
There you go.
So yeah, a lot of club sports. If you want to do sports, but it's not like at the level where you get a scholarship,
right,
kind of thing. And then there's also what's called intramurals.
Sure.
So that's through the recreation center, and that's also where you can compete with your friends. You can create a soccer team,
right?
If you wanted to, and then you compete against other student teams.
Cool.
So there's all kinds of stuff, from soccer to basketball to ultimate frisbee.
Nice. I love
to all kinds of stuff.
Yeah.
So yeah, lots of opportunities.
Well, we're getting close to the end here, but one thing that's on a lot of students' mind that I always forget to ask about is meals. Is there a meal plan that they get on, or is there a dining hall that they go and they just swipe a card or something? Okay.
Yeah, we've got all different options. There are meal plans. There's different levels of meal plans. So, if you're living on campus, some kind of dormitory style places include a meal plan, so you can get certain different levels. Okay, and then there are other places on campus, like I mentioned before, Burnham Wood apartments.
So where it's kind of a shared.
Right.
Yeah.
So it's more like an apartment. Meal plans are optional, so that means you can get a meal plan if you want to, but you don't have to. Right. And you've got a kitchen, so you can do your own grocery shopping. You can do your own cooking. Nice. So that's another option. But there's dining halls. I think there's 3 or 4 different large dining halls on campus. And then there's also small little cafes and places where you can get a cup of coffee or a snack, a sandwich.
Right.
There's the Viking Union, which is the main kind of student hub. They've got food options like, Subway. They've got like a kind of an Asian fusion type place. They've got, again, kind of a coffee stand, sandwiches, things like that. So there's lots of different options. And then outside of campus, down the street, there's a, big supermarket. Downtown, there's lots of restaurants. So
lots of options.
Lots of options, yeah.
Now, you guys are so close to Canada. Do you guys have any partnerships or relationships with any schools on that side, or can they do their OPT in Canada? I mean, I don't know how that works.
Yeah. Yeah, we don't have any partnerships with any Canadian universities. Um, Actually, years ago, I think Western had a partnership with Simon Fraser University, which is like just across the border.
Okay.
But and that was like exchange, so sending students there,
Oh.
bringing students here.
Sure.
But but it didn't really work, I think, because um, a lot of students thought it was too close.
Too close.
So if if you wanted to go on an exchange somewhere, like
Sure.
you probably want to go somewhere far away.
Go to Mexico or
Yeah.
something. eh?
So no, set partnerships like that. But Canada is very close.
Right.
If students are sometimes depends on the country they come from. Sometimes they don't need a visa to go to Canada. Sometimes they do. If you do, you can certainly apply for one.
Sure.
It might take several weeks to months to get, but our office we've got information about how you do that, and if you can get a visa to go to
Right.
Canada. So that's certainly an option. For OPT is work permissions within the U.S. So,
That's true. Okay.
So we have had students who, found jobs in Canada and
okay.
ended up moving to Canada. So that's always an option.
That's
you know?
permanent OPT.
Yeah. So, but for OPT, yeah, it's within the U.S.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
That makes sense. No, I think one of the things I always tell students when they're asking me about Seattle colleges is, hey, you get a 2-country experience when you're so close to that. You guys are even closer. I mean, just a few minutes up the road.
Yep,
You're in.
yep.
Do you actually live in Canada or do you live in Bellingham?
I live in Bellingham.
Okay. Yeah.
I did live in Canada at one time
All
before coming to Bellingham.
Yeah.
So because my wife's Canadian,
Yeah,
she immigrated to the U.S. We actually both have dual citizenship
gotcha.
now. So it's it's only an hour away to Vancouver to drive up to Canada.
It's really
so,
close.
So we do go up there once in a while.
In the border itself is what, half hour?
Border is half an hour.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
it's really close.
Yeah, and there are buses that go up there.
Well,
The
the train does now, yeah.
Amtrak train is actually, I've heard from students, it's really cheap. It's like $25.
Yeah, it's
maybe?
really convenient and easy.
Yeah.
And cheap.
And doesn't take that long.
And gorgeous.
It's a beautiful ride.
Yeah.
So that's another option. A lot of students, there are some students, especially if they're transfer students, maybe they have their own car. You can drive up. But good pro tip, come to Western, you don't have a car, make friends with a local student who does have a car.
That's right, exactly.
Right? And then, you can...
Then you get to go everywhere.
That's right.
Just pitch in for gas. Please.
Yeah, that's right. So yeah, that's a good tip there.
Well, this has been really great. Thanks so much for your time. I want to encourage you guys to really come here and check out Western Washington. It's a cool place, nice campus, really beautiful. And they can come talk to you in person if they want.
Absolutely. Yeah. Reach out to us. If you're going to be on campus, feel free to drop by or let us know you're coming. We'll be happy to meet you.
Yeah. Do yourself a favor. Check it out. You got lots of options, so don't rule this one out for sure.
Yeah.
Any last words of wisdom that you can offer international students that are thinking of transferring here?
Yeah, definitely think about it. It's an option for you. It's an easy option for you. Beautiful place.
Beautiful.
And lots of study options.
Yeah.
I think it's a good place to come. I think most students who come have a great experience. They enjoyed coming here, and they're glad they're Western alumni. So
there you go. Any famous Western alumni? Anybody that I know?
I mean, there are some. I don't know.
Just trying to think off the top of my head.
What's the band? Vampire Weekend, I think.
Huh. They started here?
What? They're a little, past my time, so I don't know much about them. But yeah, there's some bands that some band members that went to Western.
There you go.
I'm trying to think of any others. I mean, there are others, but I'm not sure how famous they are.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
All right. Thanks so much for your time.
You bet.
Guys, don't forget to like and subscribe. Check us out each week on Wednesday. And really appreciate it. We'll hopefully get some students to come this direction.
All right. Thanks for coming in.
Take care.
Yeah.
All right. Bye-bye.
Yeah.
Bye-bye.
See ya.
Conversations With is painstakingly crafted for you by the Seattle College's International Programs Department and supported by the lovely folks here on our campus. This show is produced and edited by me, Evan Franulovich. We welcome your emails and questions about coming to Seattle Colleges. Please reach out to us via our website or just give us a rating and a review on Apple Podcasts, as this helps others discover the show. Also, don't forget to follow us on Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, or YouTube at Seattle Colleges INTL. That's Seattle Colleges INTL. And be sure to check out all of the shows here on Conversations With. Thanks for listening, and we'll see you next week.